Hi everyone, welcome to Have You Heard? Today we are doing something a little different, and for the first time on the channel, we're going to listen to Dire Straits. And here we have the debut album called Dire Straits. And I mean, I'm not the greatest Dire Straits fan in the world. I wouldn't call myself an uber fan, but I'm an uber fan of this album and a couple of their others. And I'm really just sort of dipping my toe in the water here. I just want to see if any of our listeners are Dire Straits fans too. At the very least, I get a chance to listen to Wild West End, which is such a lovely song and which takes me back a few years prior to when this was written, to when I lived in London. And I used to go every week and just walk around the Wild West End. Um, it was in those days, in the early to mid 70s, quite a remarkable place, particularly for a young 20-year-old who didn't know about the bright lights of the big city. Oh my. Dire Straits, of course, became a huge band in the 80s. Mark Knopfler considered one of the great guitarists of all time. And yet the story of how they got their break is really quite interesting and remarkable. Um, I read somewhere that people say they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, but they still managed to get that breakthrough. So let's listen to the song first of all, and then we shall talk about the band, the album, the song a little bit more afterwards. Um, the album was released in the UK in June 78, right in the middle of punk. And 4 months later, released in the US, which goes to tell you just how difficult it was for them to make that breakthrough. Eventually, it got to number 4 in the US charts, got to number 8 in the British charts. But let's just listen to the song first of all. Beautiful song, Wild West End. Ah, okay, we have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. Phew.
Stepping out to Angelucci's for my coffee beans. Checking out the movies and the magazines. The waitress, she watches me crossing from the Barracuda. I get a pickup for my steel guitar. I saw ya walking out now, Shaftesbury Avenue. Excuse me, talking, I wanna marry you. This is 7th Street. Don't you seem so proud? You're just another angel in the crowd, and I'm walking in the Wild West End. Walking in the Wild West End. Walking with your wild best friend. Now my conductress on the number 19, she was a honey. She was a honey. Pink toenails and hands all dirty with the money. seen them for a while. I went down Chinatown. In the back room, it's a man's world. All the money go down. Duck inside the doorway. Duck to eat. Just ain't no way. You and me, we can be walking in the Wild West end. Walking in the Wild West end. Walking with your wild best friend. Now hey, a go-go dancing girl. Yes, I saw the DJ. He say, "There's man before you." Feel alright, seeing up, do that stuff. She's dancing high and I'm moving by. The close-ups can get rough. When you're walking in the Wild West end. Walking, walking, walking in the Wild West end. Walking, walking with your wild best friend. Walking, walking in the
Four minutes and 42 seconds of sheer delight, particularly with headphones on. You can, and this is the remastered edition, and this CD I have is the remastered one as well. And it just picks up all of Mark's beautifully tasty guitar licks, I suppose you can call them, and lovely rhythm guitar in the background. It was incredible that this was a hit at all, and of course it became a hit purely because the band sent a tape of a couple of songs to Charlie Gillett, who was a DJ on Radio London. He had a show called Honky Tonk, and they sent him the tapes just to ask for advice. What does he think they should do to make them better? And he loved the tape so much that he started playing Sultans of Swing, one of the songs on the tape, on his show. 2 months later, Phonogram signed the band up. But even then, they didn't give the band much in terms of a marketing campaign or any kind of push or exposure at all. In the remaster booklet, there's a one-page, it's called an appreciation, and it's written by Charlie Gillett, and he's really very modest, because he says that the band should owe all their thanks to the A&R man of Phonogram, a gentleman called Johnny Staines, who managed to persuade his bosses to offer, he says here, just enough money to get the band interested in signing a deal. And then Charlie also says that they should offer a debt of thanks to Muff Winwood, who produced the album. He says with just the correct amount of restraint and care. And of course, he's absolutely right. The production is pristine. It's gorgeous. And it just allows space for the band to play that very spacious music. But of course, Charlie writes this article, but of course it's him. If he hadn't started playing Sultans of Swing on his station, the word of mouth wouldn't have started this incremental interest in the record, because that's what happened. It was released in the UK and nothing much happened. But Holland, the Netherlands, they picked up on it. And according to Charlie here, the Netherlands and a radio station in the Netherlands really started pushing Sultans of Swing, and it became a big hit. Then people in Germany, it filtered across from Holland into Germany, and the Germans imported tens of thousands of the album, and so Phonogram decided they'd better issue it in Germany. And there we are, out of nowhere. Apparently, Australia were the next one. Australia started picking up on it. So it went all the way around the world. Of course, I was in dear old South Africa, and I was in a little town called Escort in the middle of the KwaZulu-Natal Midlands, very close to the Drakensberg Mountains. And I had no idea who Dire Straits were, but I received in the post from the UK every 2 weeks uh, uh, the latest edition of the New Musical Express, the NME. And of course, Dire Straits were beginning to make an impact here in 78, in amongst all of the Sex Pistols, Clash, Jam, Damned, all of those punk bands creating a real stir. Here was Dire Straits, and I hadn't heard anything apart from Sultans of Swing, but I thought to myself, well, you might as well buy the album and just see what it's like. I mean, if you don't like it, just get rid of it, Richard. So I bought a local pressing. They'd made some in South Africa, and I was absolutely blown away. And it was totally incongruous for the times. It's a mixture of country and folk and like a J.J. Cale kind of blues, isn't it? Very, very different to anything else that anybody was playing. And these are four English guys, um, Mark and David Knopfler, who were born in, came from Scotland, but lived the vast majority of their lives in the northeast, Blythe, just outside of Newcastle. And Pick Withers, who had been a session drummer for 10 years and was a session drummer at Rockfield Studios, amongst other jobs he had. Rockfield, where, of course, Rush recorded quite a few of their early albums. And John Ilsley, who would remain, the bass player, who would remain with Mark throughout the entire Dire Straits career, the only two originals that stayed with the band all the way through. And I was surfing through YouTube a few weeks ago, and I came across an interview. One of the music channels was interviewing John Ilsley. What a lovely man! And the subjects of the interview was, tell us your favourite Dire Straits songs. And Wild West End was right at the top of the list. And he said it was just it just brought back to him the memories of them right in the early days before they issued the first album. They were living and working close to Soho, and they would go into Soho and go to Angelucci's coffee bar. They'd walk up the Shaftesbury Avenue. They'd see all of the sights and sounds of the West End of London in the mid-70s. And it really resonated with me. It was a lovely interview. But the whole thing of walking around London is exactly what I did when I moved down to London for 2 years, from the end of 73 to the end of 75, before I flew off to Durban. And every day off that I had from work, I would just catch the train from the suburbs into the middle of London, and I would just walk around the Wild West End. And the sights, the sounds, the smells, the record shops. I was in seventh heaven. And wow, I mean, it was a different place with some really, really strange things that um, a wide eyed and innocent 20-year-old, which is what I was, yeah, 20. Um, I'd never experienced any of this before, but I just had I just enjoyed it so much. And then a friend and I, from work, every Tuesday night we would drive into London and we'd go to the Marquee Club on Wardour Street, the famous Marquee Club that used to that was the breeding ground for all the great British music of the 60s, the Stones, Cream, all of those guys, Small Faces, Rod Stewart, all the blues, all Fleetwood Mac, all of the big blues bands would all play at the Marquee, a tiny cramped venue with sticky floors. And in the 70s, we would see bands like Argent, Rory Gallagher, Greenslade. I still have to play some Greenslade on the channel. Um, who else did we see? The Kiki D band, fantastic band. Lindisfarne. Oh, there's an endless number of bands um, that the Marquee was great, absolutely great, and they were right. That was right in the middle of the Wild West End. So those are my memories, and this song just brings back all of those vivid memories to my mind. It's very special. So please let me know what you think of Dire Straits. Are you Dire Straits fans? Are there any Dire Straits fans out there? Um, this video might sink without a trace. It might also be quite popular. We shall see. But please put some comments below. Let me know what you think of the band, the album, and the song. And like and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, please look at all the videos we have in our playlists. We've got 140 of them. Um, please have a look and see if you might like to subscribe to us so you can see more. But that's it for now as I lose my voice. Apologies for the dead air before the track came through at the beginning. My Bluetooth connections was playing up a little bit, but I don't like to edit. I'm not very good at it, and why not just see the video, warts and all? But it wasn't too bad, was it? Anyway, I look forward to seeing you on our next video, which will be tomorrow because we do one every single day. But until then, have a great Sunday. Cheers, everyone.